Hi folks, we are here to talk about lesson 5, going deeper into analysis, talking about analyzing evidence, and our learning target is that I can document my analysis of text evidence. So we are actually going to do that by using something that looks very familiar, which is our ERC organizer, and we're really going to dig into this reasoning analysis section. And we are going to use our mother to son annotations that we used as our evidence. We've recorded some of our thinking in here, but now we're going to really sit down and kind of figure out how do we use this evidence to really help us. And it can really help us start getting into the last step of close reading, because at that point we're trying to put all the pieces together with our thinking. So we kind of want to document this. We could also do this afterwards, but I kind of wanted us to stop and see how to analyze it, just so that when we move into our third step, we can really process and put these things together. So I'm actually going to type my question here up at the top, which I'm going to add is, what is the theme of this poem? So I have my question, and of course I'm going to want to put evidence to go with this. And I've been kind of having this question in the back of my mind, and you'll notice that on this right here I do have a lot of notes and quotes and things. So I'm going to start pulling out some evidence that I find really important in here. And I'm going to write down that evidence in these boxes right here. So okay, so now that I have these, and you'll notice that each one is a specific direct quote from the text. So I'm actually copying the exact wording and things like that. Since this is a poem for my evidence, I also decided to put it lined so I could copy what's on there. So now that I have evidence and I have specific things that the author said, now I'm going to do my analysis, and I'm going to do that in these two boxes. Now up here we say pose and answer questions to explore why the evidence is important. So I'm going to ask myself some questions and answer them. So life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So some questions I might have could be, what do you mean by crystal stairs? And then I could come down over here, or I could also notice that, why is this repeated? What should I notice, or what should I, since we're looking for theme, learn from these stairs? And an answer for me, which I can do since we've already kind of stopped and analyzed and looked through the rest of this, these would have been like the most important, not just the most interesting. My answer could be in this section. I could talk about crystal stairs are fancy and expensive. Her life is very much the opposite. Is very much the opposite. And it's repeated because it is a major point that she has had a tough life, and I should learn from how she's dealt with it. Okay, and just to make it fit, I'm going to make this a little smaller if I can. And meanwhile, I'm also going to continue to think about some of the other evidence. Don't you sit down the steps because you find it's kind of hard. Some questions that we came up with previously is, why is he sitting down? What is hard in his life? So my thoughts answering this are kind of like, well, he's probably running into difficulties, could be depressed, and I happen to know background knowledge again, could have to do with blocks from society. And the fact that it's kind of hard could mean that the mom doesn't think it's as difficult as she went through. So that could be a thing. She's not actually saying that it's more difficult than what she went through, but I've kind of gotten that feeling implying that she's like, hey, wait, what's going on? It's only kind of hard. I've gone through worse. So she's potentially trying to, I'm going to add that, telling him to keep going no matter what. Maybe it's not as bad as he thinks. That could be a thought that maybe he thinks is bad, but she's saying it's not. All right, and then I kind of went back a little bit. So I'm pulling evidence from different pieces of this in different orders, but all the time I've been climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners. What are these things meaning? What might the landings and corners represent? I'm asking that because I kind of know already that she's talking about life comparing to a staircase, so I'm assuming she's comparing these. It could be landings, could be goals she had, turning corners, could be changing directions or new opportunities that she has, and so on. This is pointing out that she didn't stop and kept making progress upwards. And up usually seems to mean better kind of thing. So now I have specific pieces of evidence directly from the text. I have questions that I kind of thought about, like, what is this pointing out to me? Why should I be paying attention to this? And then I have some answers. So now they're fancy and expensive. Her life is opposite. It's repeated. He's probably running into problems. She's telling him not to really give up and that there's goals. So now I'm going to go back up to my question. If I can scroll up here, maybe. I know my question is, what is the theme of this? So now I want to say the theme of this poem is that no matter how bad things seem to be, you can find a way around them and keep improving. So my first read through could have been kind of like, don't give up. And this is still kind of saying don't give up, but now I'm getting deeper things. I could even think it's maybe society, that no matter how bad you think could be worse, keep finding a way forward, keep taking what's advantage there. So again, this whole idea of being able to analyze evidence a little deeper is pulling specific evidence from the text, asking myself thoughts about these, and then we're putting down my answers of that. So now we can use all of the boxes and come up with a potential theme, since that is kind of our goal in general right now.